Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Today, I'm going to be talking about Harry and his behavior. The fact that he has settled this lawsuit gives us so much insight to who he really is. He really is a coward. He is a man that has no backbone. And it looks like, I believe, Hugh Grant called him out for it. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's get into it. Before I go into my story today, I want to talk about how Vogue is looking to bring Catherine on the cover because they can see that Catherine is the kind of woman that they want to be on the cover of Vogue. So it looks like Vogue is offering to put Catherine on the cover because they look at her as a global fashion icon. And this right here, I believe, says so much about who they really look to as royalty. And I can only imagine how this has got Meghan beside herself, just itching and scratching and just not happy. She can't figure out what to do because there's really nothing she can do. So the Princess of Wales has been offered the global covers. Vogue, the Mail on Sunday, has reported. Now, Anna Wintour, the magazine's editor-in-chief, and we know the most powerful woman in fashion, she is said to have made a personal appeal to Catherine to offer her to choose her own photographer, to be in charge of the fashion choices, and to decide whether or not to grant an interview. I mean, she's just getting laid out a smorgasbord of what she would like. And this is something that only someone like a Catherine could get. And we see Meghan tries, but she could never obtain what Catherine has been able to get so easily. It is such a nice thing to see. They just made this offer to her within the last few days. Now, a source is also telling that Miss Winters reached out via intermediary to offer Catherine her choice of global Vogue covers, including the US and the UK versions. Oh my goodness. It's like, yes, Catherine, you just have to show up as a princess and it all comes to you. Like you don't have to put out any effort. You don't have to try. You don't have to try to show up for photo ops to get put in the papers. You don't have to do all these schemes and trying to make yourself look like something. You just are. Catherine just is. And that is the simplicity of pure elegance. It's just there. There's an it factor, and Catherine has it because she shows up in true authenticity. She shows up in a very real way, and that comes out, and that is the thing that Meghan is missing. She'll never get it because she's always trying. And that's why she'll continue to fail. Now, they're also saying that we know Catherine appeared on the British Vogue in June of 2016 to celebrate the magazine's 100th anniversary. A source is also saying that the princess has come a long way since the first cover. She is a global icon, but she is so much more. Her brave battle against cancer while raising 3 children in the public eye makes her a role model to millions. And this is a woman who doesn't try to play games around her children and not showing them. There is a clear definition of how to do it and how not to do it. And I just love Catherine's elegance and how she shows up and it just is real to people. It is so refreshing to see her be the way that she is. And it's good to see that her cancer is in remission. She's showing up in a real, true, authentic way. And I think being offered to do the US and the UK version Vogue magazine covers and to just be able to choose everything says so much for how they really admire her. They really want her because they're making it so easy for her. And I just am excited to see that this has been something that, yeah, you just can't get better than that. And good for Catherine. I mean, I'm really happy for her. Good for her. Now, moving on to this Hugh Grant story. So everything we need to know about Harry and how he has settled on this lawsuit. And I think what Hugh Grant is saying calls out Harry. I think it gives us what we need from an insider's perspective, because we know Hugh Grant was a part of this lawsuit as well, and that he settled his. But people were looking to Harry to do what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to slay dragons, and like I said, no, you just lay down with the dragons, Harry. You just lay down with them, because you don't know how to slay anything. And Hugh is saying that, to really get to this settlement around the tabloid that Harry has done, he's saying essentially that Harry did not get to the real truth. He did not get to the truth of the matter that needed to happen. And he's even given up a suggestion to what should happen, which I find very interesting and insightful around Harry. Now, Hugh Grant is calling for a criminal investigation into Robert Murdoch's newspaper following Harry's settlement against the publisher. Now, Harry, we know, originally sued NGN over accusations that investigators and journalists under the publisher engaged in illegal information gathering in 1996 to 2011, way before Meghan was even in the picture. This is starting to come up. That's very telling in itself. But as the Sun and the now defunct News of the World had targeted him during this time. And that's also insightful, because no one's targeting you now, Harry, but he's got this whole thing around his security and wanting to not bring his family back to the UK unless he gets this special type of security, which he has already. But he's saying that he wants to have it for his children so that he can feel safe bringing them to the UK. And it's just a cover. It's not the truth. Harry he's just a big blob of just goo. Just a bunch of blob of goo. Doesn't say or have any relevance in the way that's meaningful. So he'll keep peddling this argument around his children and safety, but let's all be assured that in itself as well is a fraud. That is a bunch of malarkey. That's just a cover up for other things that he's trying to get, because he feels he's entitled to these things, and he's trying to blame it on security, which is a downright lie. Now, Hugh Grant is also, we know, who sued NGN and settled a privacy claim against them last year, is calling for more drastic action against the publisher. This is according to The Hollywood Reporter, citing that the job is not done by any means. And that is what Harry was supposed to do. Harry was supposed to be that. But there's something else that Hugh Grant says. So we know that the civil lawsuit is not the right instrument to obtain the real truth of what happened, Grant says. So why did this go in as a civil case and not a criminal case to get to the real truth? Because Harry, if he wanted to get to the real truth, wouldn't they have brought it in as a criminal charge rather than a civil charge? Because the civil charge is really just going to get you money, and it got him an apology, but it didn't get to the crux of the matter. It didn't get to the information that was going to make people accountable for their illegal actions. And that's what Hugh was saying. Now that they have admitted to illegal actions, we need to open up a criminal investigation to get to the real information. But if Harry saw this as illegal and criminal in the beginning, why was it never brought in as a criminal investigation? Or maybe it has something to do with the UK laws, I'm not sure. But I find that very interesting, because that's when you get to the real accountability of something, when you bring people in for something that's criminal. Why was it civil? We all remember what he said during the Deal Book Summit.
What is the goal of this lawsuit?
The goal is accountability.
And so you think that everybody's just settled because it just doesn't make any economic sense to continue?
No, I know why people have settled. They've settled because they've had to settle. So therefore, one of the main reasons for seeing this through is accountability, because I'm the last person that can actually achieve that, and also closure.
So did you really get to accountability, Harry? If you're not getting to the actions that were illegal, You're just getting someone to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But he folded. He took the money. And I doubt he'll even donate the money. Harry is a coward. He is someone that wants to appear royal-like, someone who appears to be an upstanding person who says, I got to get to the accountability. I've got to do the things that's right. We got to leave it up to me, folks. Leave it up to me. I'm the one that can do it. But you didn't. And you had the chance. You should have said no. You shouldn't have settled. But perhaps maybe the royal family on the back end of all of this had something to do with it. Because I think a lot of things around the royal family would have been exposed as well. But if he really wanted to do something, that's what he would have done. Harry is just he's a fraud. In my opinion, Harry is a fraud. There's a bunch of stuff coming out now about the Invictus Games and the amount of money he is now receiving. Meghan as well. This is supposed to be something that's charitable. But they're making so much money off of it. Harry needs to know you didn't really live up to what you said. You're not a man of your word. This is why you'll never be respected the way you want to be respected. He goes on to say that a lot of foot soldiers for those newspapers have now come over to our side to say this is awful. We've been punished. We've been to prison. We've paid fines. We've lost our jobs. But the people who commanded all of this, they're still there. What did you get to the bottom of, Harry? Nothing. They go on to say that I think that they're terrified of is that those findings would trigger a new criminal inquiry. The proof and the allegations would have been proven real by the evidence. But none of that will now be seen. So what did he really account for? He didn't account for anything that was meaningful. Because it's all now been covered up, unless there's now going to be a criminal investigation, which we have to wait and see. And then Hugh also goes on to suggest that Britain's Crown Protection Service should take action. There's been a lot that has happened. So much more could have been a part of this lawsuit that Harry just essentially covered up and took the money for. Because he needs the money. He can't really survive the way he used to surviving. This has become a way of income and making a living for him to appear like he has got a stance and he wants accountability, but behind it, proving false to all of these words. Because it comes down to him making money and not really getting to the truth. But it's just a big hot mess for everybody. Okay? And I will see you all in the next one. Cheerio!